teenager and I was never away from my family. And I didn't want to be away from my family this time. So despite being picked out to be in this column, I went back to the column where my parents and my 7-year-old brother was. And I said, I want to go with you, I want to go together. Whatever happens to you, let it happen to all of us. My father, I realized already there of what's happening, what's taking place here, and he said to us, children, you go over there, go on the other column, save yourself, and if you'll survive, remember to carry on with life and tradition, which we did. Didn't take long. Our column was taken into a camp, in a slave labor camp. My mother, my father, and my 7-year-old brother were taken with the remaining people from the town Starovica, and taken to a death camp called Treblinka. You must have heard about Treblinka, and were there murdered the same day. And that was the last time and the last words I heard from my father. My brothers and I were placed in a, like I said, in a camp which was under terrible, terrible conditions. It was dirty, it was filthy, it was built in a hurry to bring the people in to place them there. And there were no hygienic places, there were no running water. It was just a terrible place. And so because of that, the epidemic of typhoid broke out. And according to the rules of the Wannsee Conference, only those Jews were allowed to live that are capable of performing slave labor. For us, there was no medication, there were no doctors. If you got sick, you couldn't perform, you were useless, and there was no need to waste any food for you. And so when people got sick, they would take them out in the nearby woods and shoot the people, kill them. It so happened that in 1942, in the winter of 42-43, during that epidemic, I also got the typhoid. And there was a barrack, one barrack, which the Germans now assigned as the quarantine, as the hospital. Although there were no medication, there were no doctors, but this was actually the quarantine where they were keeping all the people. One night, there was 87 people in that block sick with typhoid. In the middle of the night, the lights went on. The camp commandant, the name of Altov, who, to be honest with you, I don't believe that he was a human being. No human being could have been such murderer as he was. In the middle of the night, the lights went on, everybody out, and he was standing at the door and shooting all the people that are running out, him and the chief of the Gestapo. There were 87 people in that block at night. There's only one that escaped, that came out from that barrack that night. And it's the one that is speaking to you now. I was the only one that escaped from the 86 people who were killed or murdered. So now, according to the Germans, I was not alive anymore because I was in that block with the 87 people. And so I'm listed as dead. And if I'm not alive, then there was no ration for me. And now I escaped to the barrack where I was before, and my friends were hiding me there. They were in the camp besides the Germans, and the camp was run by Jewish police. So the next day, a Jewish policeman came in and he says, you gotta get out from here, I gotta place you back in the quarantine. And I says, my God, you know what happened to me? I was lucky. I escaped. You know what's gonna happen? That barrack will fill up again with people that are sick. And the second time, I won't be lucky the second time. So please, let me stay here. He says, you cannot stay here because you're sick, and it will only be inflicting other people. So I gotta take you out from here, place you back in the quarantine, but he says, I promise that I will take care of you, that I will give you the ration. I'll make sure that you get your ration. Besides that, in the early days when I was transferred from Plots to Starovice, I was assigned to a job to work with the Germans. And when I came there was another boy working there and two girls. They were from different cities, we didn't know each other. It's just that I was placed to work there. After we was placed in the camp, after the selection on the marketplace, and my parents were sent away, and their parents, one of the girls that was working there was assigned to work in the kitchen. I was working, before I got sick, I was like working in the ammunition factory. And so now that policeman promised that I will take care of you, I will see that you get your ration, and if I hear that there is something taking place, I will take you out from here, I will protect you. And he did, he kept his word. He made sure that I get my ration every day. And that girl that I used to work before, which I didn't know before, it's just that we're working together in the same place, was assigned now to work in the kitchen. And so when she heard about me, what happened, and that I am the one that survived, and now she didn't know about that I'll be getting the ration through the police. So she was stealing food in the kitchen, brought it to the wires, put it underneath when the guards were not around, put it underneath the wires, and my brother would pick it up from there and bring it into me and gave me the food. And so that helped me to get, and I was fighting very hard with me to get stronger, to get healthy, so I'll be able to go back to the factory to work and not to hang around at the camp because I knew what's going to happen. As a matter of fact, one night, there were rumors around the camp that tonight is going to be a selection. A selection meant that the people were ordered out from the barracks, and they were ordered either to walk or to run, and they were being picked out. Those that couldn't run fast enough, or according to the Germans, thought that maybe too weak, were taken aside, taken away, and liquidated. So there were rumors that there is going to be a selection tonight. And so some people, friends of mine, said, you cannot stay here tonight. We were working in 2 shifts, 12-hour shifts. Every week it changed, the shift changed. This was going to be my night shift, the original night shift. So the people that were with me working on the same shift in the factory said, Izzy, you cannot stay here tonight because there's going to be a selection. And you are weak, you cannot, never mind around, you cannot walk. I couldn't walk, that's how weak I was. And you know what's going to happen. So I said, but I cannot, even we had to walk from the camp to the factory, was about, say, 2 kilometers. And says, I cannot walk. I cannot do the work in the factory. Everyone had a quota, how much ammunition he has to produce. So they said, we'll take you. Believe it, 2 people carried me on their shoulders all the way from the camp to the factory. And when we came in there during the night, it was the night shift,